book 2 funny people to open for me. I was in the hospital all day. How are we? That's a fun way. Natalie made me wear this flannel. It's not even mine, it's hers, because I still have my hospital bracelet on. And I still got the little gauze pad in my arm. How are we? Oh, good to see a fellow autistic guy in the front row. How are you? My crowd is very much on the spectrum at points, and I was upstairs and I was like, that guy is shaking so much, he's one of us. Are you or no?
No.
Oh, well, bad news, buddy. A lot of times, you're like, gay dudes will see a guy who's not gay, and they're like, just so you know, you're gonna be gay in a few weeks. And autistic people, we got TISM radar, and mine is alarming. It's the engine of a train. It's going choo choo choo, and it's sounding off. How are we, front row? Good. I don't have much energy. I was in a hospital in Brooklyn all day. I was the only one not in handcuffs, though, so that was fun. A lot of people in handcuffs. I'm not looking forward to that. I have very bad insurance, so it's going to cost me a lot of money. Not to be like offensive, but you know the insurance is bad because when they text me, it is texted in Spanish first. ¿Qué pasa, Mr. LaMorte? Oh, fuck. All right, I have a cyst in my sinuses. I don't have jokes for that yet, it just happened. But I don't really know how to make the hospital funny. I had to fucking scope up my goddamn nose all day, but here we are. Natalie was like, can you still come to the show? I'm like, I'm in a fucking hospital bed in Brooklyn. I don't know, babe. But that's my wife. We're getting married next year. That's fun, eh? Hell yeah. That's fun, man. I like this. Oh shit, there's someone off to the side. How are you? No one told me the sound guy was up here. Oh shit, that threw me off. I was like, someone's coming to get me. It's one of the Spanish dudes in the crowd. How many people here are actually from Jersey City? Yeah. Yo, any of you ever eat at Express Kitchen on Central? It's my favorite place. They got 2 TVs going. One is a screen at Times Square, and the other is Japanese baseball. It's my favorite restaurant. Both have the same amount of Asian people. I'm being way too racist to start. I don't know, it's the morphine talking, it ain't me. You can't cancel me. I got painkillers injected to me like 2 hours ago, so anything I say is whatever. This is my Roseanne Barr set. Oh, what do you mean I said the N-word? I took morphine. No, I'm joking. I'll make fun of everyone equally. And I'm not smoking at the moment, because, alright, I mean, I don't really have bits for this yet so much, but like, I'm a felon in Ohio right now. I probably should, I don't know how much of this I could get into, but, so 2 weeks ago, me and Natalie were doing shows in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and my sinuses have been so bad, which is why I was in the hospital today, my forehead swelled up, that I can't fly. So we have to drive to every gig. So we have to drive to Fort Wayne, Indiana. By the way, driving's the fucking best, right? Because you can charge the phone when you drive. I love that shit, but sometimes you drop the phone down the car seat while it's still plugged in, and then it becomes a game because you like slowly want to pull it up. You don't want to lose it underneath there, so I just pretend the phone is a Chilean minor, you know? I'm like, hold on, Carlos! Hold on, Papi! I'm gonna get you out of that cavern! I only say Carlos because in the Chilean mining accident, of the 33 miners that went underground, 3 were named Carlos. That is a comical amount, you know? Like, it probably wasn't a funny day for the Carloses, tough for them, but comical for the wives, right? Because it's Chile, it's a small rescue operation, so they only let 1 dude out of a time, out of the hole. So they're like, who's coming up? It's Carlos! They're like, which one? What color is his thermos? Verde! One of the dudes, no joke, you could Google it. It wasn't one of the Carloses. They were in the clear. Carloses are good dudes. The New York Post article, or any of you, this dude, he got caught cheating while he was stuck in the mine. His name was Yanni. He was one of the 33 miners. His mistress and his wife threw a vigil for him, and then that's how they found out he was cheating. That's the funniest way to get caught cheating. You think your life is over, then you find out you're getting saved, and on the way up, you're like, thank you so much, God, and then you just get out, and you're like, oh, fuck! What do you do? You're just like, all right, see you guys later. Right back down the hole. I shouldn't have jumped, that made me dizzy. The doctor was like, you're not actually gonna go on stage tonight, right? And I'm like, no way, doc, what do you mean? Alright, fuck it. Oh, yeah, so the show I was talking about the whole Fort Wayne. We go to do shows in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and that's no place where you want to... So I got popped for weed, because weed in Ohio is still a class 1 thing. I had no idea. So we do the shows in Fort Wayne, and on the Saturday, we're like, what should we do in Fort Wayne, Indiana? Like, it's a pretty boring place, and they're like, you should drive to Michigan and buy weed. That's when you know a place is bad, when they're just like, go buy drugs in a different state and then come back, and maybe it'll be better. So that's what we do, and the shows didn't even fuck. They were the worst shows because the Insane Clown Posse was in town the same weekend as us. And like me and Natalie's fans, they chose the Insane Clown Posse, you know, and it wasn't even the whole posse, it was just Shaggy, it was one clown. We got outsold by the Insane Clown. And side note, 4 people in his crowd had amputated legs. That's a lot for one fan base. Just put it out there. At what point do you blame the music? I don't know. Insane Clown, that seems like a band you start liking with 2 legs and end up with 1 for one reason or another. They had their stumps painted like juggalos. It was... God damn, I told them not to let me come up here tonight. It was gonna be odd. And there's not many really fun... So like... The reason the arrest, it kind of happens, right? Because like we're leaving Fort Wayne, and the manager of the club was like, "This is how the state of comedy is right now." The manager, he was like, "It was so nice to work with you guys this weekend. It's actually my last weekend at the club. Taco Bell gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. I'm gonna train employees at Taco Bell." He was leaving a good comedy club to work at a Taco Bell. So on the way home, me and Natalie were like, let's stop at a Taco Bell. We're driving 10 hours back to Jersey. We're supposed to do 4 that night, 6 the next day. So we stop at a Taco Bell, and I turn off the headlights, we eat our food, and as we pull out of the parking lot, I turn the headlights back on, and it was too late. Like a cop saw me turn them on too late, and he pulled me over. And it turned into like a thing really quickly, because I was wearing a vintage tie-dye Jimi Hendrix t-shirt. So he saw that, and he was like, I fucking got one of them, you know? And it turns into, I have Asperger's, you know, I am on the spectrum, I don't do well to oversensitivity, so he has the flashlight in my face, he has the fucking cop lights going, and the first thing he's like, do you know how I'm pulling you over? I'm like, can you actually just turn those lights off for me? And you can tell no one's ever asked him that, he's like, what the fuck, man? And then Natalie's like, officer, he's autistic, he's on the spectrum, and then he's like, he doesn't look autistic, and it's like, yeah, I'm not wearing a helmet, you piece of shit, like... Fuck you, Officer Hernandez, you can't judge me. And then he goes, get out of the car, I'm field sobriety testing you. So he gets me out behind the car, and then he's like, can you count to 30? And I was like, did you really not hear the autistic thing, man? I can count to 30. It doesn't matter how fucked up I am. That's my specialty. It's a weird time. Like, people are pushing back on there's people, everyone's autistic, man. Why do people get mad at us? We're not trying to read to your kids in libraries. We're not trying to read to your kids anywhere. We hate people. All right. And then he let us, he detained us in the back seat of the car. I was all for defunding the police, but did you know their back seats are plastic? We gotta give them enough money for cushions, man. I don't know. That's very uncomfortable in the back seat of the cop car. He didn't cuff me though, because Natalie did convince. I really hope they don't release that dash cam footage, because I really autismed it up. I mean, they better not release that, because I look really different. And then he let us go with 2 misdemeanor tickets. Then he called us at 6:14 in the morning, and he was like, "Hey, just so you know, I reweighed the weed, and it's a felony now." And I was like, "Well, I'm in Pennsylvania, so fuck you." And that's not really what I said. Yeah, it's paraphrased, but I think it's gonna handle itself. My comedian's also a lawyer. My lawyer's a comedian, I should say. So I'm gonna go to jail, I think. You're higher within your budget, you know. What do you do? I'm going to crowd work right now. My brain's fried. This morphine is really hitting me. You look like a squiggly line. It's amazing. Are you just cold, or do you like being that close to yourself? Not you. Don't worry, masked couple. This guy in the front. You guys look way more normal than him. What do you do? Yeah. A recruiter for what? Don't tell me the military. The tech. That gives me nothing to really work with, man. I went to community college. I don't really have much for a friend. What do you do? Everyone wants to be talked to so badly in this second round. Me? maybe these people aren't doing the job right now. You have a 60th anniversary improv show. Were you at JFL?
No, this is from DC Improv.
Oh, I know you. All right, Natalie Crowd worked you one time at a show in DC. I remember this guy right away. He brought a date, but it wasn't a date, but they seemed like they were gonna fuck. Was it you? Oh, God, no, not her. That was perfect timing. Yeah, this guy gets around. You having a threesome with a new woman and an autistic guy. I don't know. Nah, you guys have better chemistry. Her arm went right around you. That was pretty good. I hope I didn't cause a fight later. I don't know. I'm good. All right, thank you. No, I don't think I'm gonna get arrested for that. That's what my brain said. I had been arrested for a week before, but it was all before I was 18 years old. You know, I grew up in New Jersey as well, but a very conservative town. So conservative, they used to give out baseball cards of the police officers. You know how awkward that is to get arrested one day and be like, oh shit, I had your rookie card, officer. Yeah, right? Career RBI leader. Oh, race-based investigations. Never mind. You're one of the bad ones. That's a weird fucking baseball card. Yeah, I'm a weird man. What are you gonna do? This is fun. I like New Jersey. This is where I'm from. I think my dad's in the crowd. Yeah. He's going through his midlife crisis right now, man. It's such an autistic one too. He not buried. That was a really odd way to start that. He planted 30 bushels of bamboo in his backyard, and it's grown everywhere. It's ruining the neighborhood. His backyard looks like a P.F. Chang's. It's nuts. The only one who's having fun is the dog. You know, he just wanders in there and comes out like 3 days later like it's Vietnam. Just a Shih Tzu with the rice patty hat on. He's like, you don't know what I saw in there. Just taking in my surroundings. Is that a saran wrap? I love stages. I think that they just book guys on the spectrum to let them know when the stage needs to be vacuumed. Because we always look down. We're having a fun time, I think. I didn't get, my mom drove me here from the hospital. I felt like I was a teenager doing comedy. I started comedy when I was a teenager. It's a weird fucking job. Now you don't have to woo that. I went from all my friends from my own age. They were all my own age, and they were just divorced 40-year-old men. It was such an odd, but I like it. It's fun enough. The traveling is good. Traveling is tough though. Like planes are not for me. I'm a very odd man on planes. Like not externally. I do hold my ears and rock in the corner. It's a very bad. If there's ever been a look that's gone out the window, it's white guy that rocks in a corner. I mean, that is not a look that's approved these days. But I'm more so I'm weird like internally. Like I always think about what I'm gonna do if the plane crashes. Right? Like you have 10 minutes left to live. What do? That's relatively important. Like a lot of my guy friends, you ask them, right? Like what would you do? Like I'd probably jerk off. Why? Why wouldn't you do something new? If I'm on a plane that's going down, I'm killing the guy in the seat next to me. I've jerked off thousands of times. I've killed 0 people. Let me feel something new. If it's all about, I can't actually do that. You know, the pilot might save it at the last minute. That's just awkward. Your Honor, turbulence. I panicked. Also awkward if you jerk off. Just sitting there and come. I thought I was gonna die. I'm excited to get married, man. My relationship before this was not fun. We have a very nice and easy relationship. We work together well. It's hard for a man to admit, but I was in an abusive relationship for a very brief period of time. But it was great. No one ever cares when a man says that. Like, you fucking got hit, you pussy. It is funny, I guess, at the end of the day. She was a bad woman, though. You can laugh at her. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna make fun of her. She deserves every second of it. She killed the roommate's goldfish. That's a twisted individual. I was walking home and she goes, hey, just as a heads up, I killed the roommate's goldfish. And I'm like, what type of horror movie did I just stumble into? And she goes, the roommate pissed me off, so I dumped Sprite in the fish tank. And then she goes, fish can't swim in Sprite. Once I heard that, the relationship was over. And That's not the sentence of a woman who just did that for the first time. You shouldn't know what beverages fish can and can't swim in. Water, that's all you should know. You shouldn't be like, yeah, goldfish can take ginger ale. Why do you know that? She was a twisted drunk. I was a drunk too. I got sober, she got a mugshot. She had a bad drinking problem. And she had one of those cars, you know, it only started when she blew the guy in the seat next to her. I will say though, dating an alcoholic, man, they'll say shit to you that you're like, that's really not nice, but it's funny. Like, we were driving home from a wedding, and the wedding had like this big dessert table, and they had donuts there. I thought nothing of it. And then we're in the car home, out of nowhere, she goes, you know, I've realized in my life, I've had more dicks in my mouth than donuts. When did you do that, man? Also, no offense, not calling you a whore, but that's the wrong answer on either side of the equation. That's either too many dicks or too few donuts. I don't care if you're blown 100 dudes, just eat 100 donuts, you know? There's a yin and a yang to this shit, man. Balance, even dick to donut ratio, that's where love exists. I've eaten way more donuts than dicks I've sold. It's actually a 0 to 1,000 ratio. Oh, man. I don't know some of the shit I'm saying right now. Oh, boy. I do like New Jersey, though. I'm happy to be living here again. I like Jersey City. It's fun. Yeah, we have very interesting people. We still do shows in the city every night, and we're driving into the city, and that'd be about a month ago at this point. I've never stopped thinking about it, and I don't foresee ever. Like, as we come from the Lincoln Tunnel, we get into Manhattan, and the second we got through the tunnel, the car in front of us just lowered the window and released a pigeon. Why'd you have a pigeon, bro? Also, gotta be honest, it wasn't a good story. It fell right to the ground. Like, it was not a pigeon that was ready to be birthed back into the world. I just feel like we could all agree as an audience, like, if you're ever in a position, right, where you have a pigeon in your car, and looking at you, none of you seem insane. You should probably yell out why you had the pigeon so everyone behind you isn't thinking about it for the rest of their fucking lives. Be like, I'm so sorry, it broke its wing in New Jersey. It would have been funny if I drove past the car and he was just like crying. Like he wanted to keep the pigeon, but it was time to let it go. I should have taken off the hospital bracelet. It's a little ridiculous. I just kind of wanted to prove I was in the hospital. I have the discharge papers back there. I'll sell it as merch. We forgot our merch. You can buy my discharge papers. Does anyone want prednisone? Oh man, it's fun. It's weird that I keep ending up in. I used to be 355 pounds. I wasn't in the hospital as much as I am these days. Being athletic sucks. I feel like I should. Yeah, I used to be very fat. I loved it. I had no idea how good I had it. None of my friends ever asked me to help them move. It's a blessing. It really. I didn't. People always ask you, like, they love to know why you lost the weight, what motivated it. And like, when life gives you a second chance, you have to grab it. It's up to you to see it. And I was lucky. Mine was obvious. You know, I was almost killed by a drunk driver. And it's not sad. I crashed into him and he was drunk. It's a second chance as far as I'm concerned. I was like, all right, God, I'll lose the weight. I see you, man. I do believe in God, but that's just because I've done a lot of mushrooms. It's not like a crazy religious thing. I just, you know, you do enough mushrooms, you hang out with him a time or two, you can't deny it. Sure, it might have been a guy on a bench in Central Park, but to me, he was God. It wasn't my fault. There was an old Asian man with a white beard and a white hat and a white shirt and white pants and white socks. And I was like, you're God. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, yes, you are. You're God, I'm God. Who the fuck knew, man? Mushrooms are a wonderful thing. Yeah. That's how actually I lost a lot of the weight, man. I would take mushrooms and run. I ran 55 miles through the woods of New Jersey, Batona Trail, high on mushrooms. That's so funny, because people will be like, how'd you lose the weight? I'm like, running. They're like, that's so boring. Not how I'm doing it. I am never alone in those woods. I'm running with the fucking dinosaurs and shit. You don't know the creatures I see. The other day a panda popped up. I'm like, nah, you're looking for my dad's backyard. All right side remembered the bamboo joke. That's good. I appreciate you guys going with me. I miss my brain is fried. Thank you for those cheers. Yeah. Kind of feels like the Special Olympics when you do that. Like I shot at my own hoop and made it. You're like, good job, buddy. Good for you. Excited for Natalie to come up. Natalie's colorblind. That's what she tells me. I believe her, but every time we eat Starburst, she always hands me the yellow and the orange. She'll like, that makes me not believe your colorblindness. She's a lucky lady, though. I'm gonna go into some of the classics here, but no one eats pussy like a man on the spectrum, you know? We finish everything we start. She's a lucky woman. That's the part I love on the spectrum they don't show you, you know? You ever seen us with a Rubik's Cube? We saw that shit behind our back. That's 6 colors. A pussy is mostly 1. Yep, that's gross, but sometimes it's like barbecue. It's got burnt ends, you know? It's funny how true, like when I was on the way to the hospital today, an Amazon driver called me and he goes, hey, I'm in the building, I have your package. And I was like, yeah, you could just leave it in the lobby. He's like, you need to sign for it. I'm like, brother, man, it's a Rubik's Cube. I don't need to, it's a spinning Rubik's Cube. I don't need to sign for it. It was $7.99. Fucking evil. I remember the first time I went down on Natalie, she was like, I take antidepressants, it makes it harder for me to come. I was like, well, Rain Man's about to be in your pants, so. If the tongue fits, wear it, baby. And so that line, that's an odd one. She came off, she went back on her antidepressants recently and they made her breasts go down a size, so now I need to take antidepressants. That was too personal. I wrote that down last night and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to share that tomorrow.
I did anyway.
I know I did anyway, thank you. I was aware. Honestly, maybe not. This all feels like a weird fever dream, so I don't know. The stage looks purple at this point. And I think it kind of is. You unfolded your arms, that's good. This guy didn't. I told him about unfolding your arms and then you unfolded it. This crowd's wonderful. You guys are... Orange shirt, what's your deal? You're giving me him energy. What do you do? It is fucking freezing in here. That's why I got the flannel. I haven't worn a flannel since I'm fat. I'm having real bad body dysmorphia right now. I used to only wear flannels because that's like the fat guy thing. But then Natalie made me put this on, like I said, because I got the cotton blood thing right there. I don't know why I'm repeating any of this. Also to hide some of my terrible tattoos. I have a fucking egg tattooed on my wrist. Do you know how terrible that is? That was the last tattoo I got when I was blackout before I stopped drinking. Why did I get it? Because I walked into a tattoo shop thinking it was a diner, and I said, let me get an omelet. And none of my friends stopped it. None of them. I just woke up, I sleep face down, I woke up and I was like, God damn it! I don't even like eggs that much, man. My dad has a deli though in the city, so I'm like, yeah, the egg tattoo reminds me of my old man's deli. He used to make it when I was 10 years old, I started working for him. That was a very important job, working in a kitchen at 10 years old, because like, right, he's an odd man. He was never gonna have the sex talk with me. That Mexican kitchen staff handled it immediately. They loved talking to me about sex. Justino and Guapo, 2 close friends of mine to this day. They were so horny that they used to have this porn website and they would put together a playlist of their favorite porn videos and then they would just plug their headphones in and make sandwiches all day long. They weren't even watching, the phone was in the pocket. They were just listening to people fuck. How horny do you gotta be to make sex your white noise? And it's crazy because Justino made the best sandwiches there by far. The amount of people who come up to my dad and be like, Justino makes the best sandwiches. What is his secret? And I'm just like, deep throat and anal. Tasted a little extra salty, right? See, this is offensive, but like, I lost all the weight during the pandemic, right? That was the majority of when the weight came off. Like I started the pandemic relatively heavy, and that's where a lot of it came off. And that was a weird time to lose all that weight, because it was the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. I was quite proud of myself. But to feel so much pride and happiness in a period of time where everyone was going through their worst time ever, like you almost felt like you couldn't be that proud, right? But then you have to shift your mind. You have to realize, like, every tragedy that's ever happened, someone has had their best day on. There's no way around that. Like, there's probably a girl out there who learned how to finger herself for the first time on 9/11. And that day will always be that for her. You know, she was upstairs in her room and she was like, oh my God, what is this? And then she walked downstairs and her parents were crying and 2 buildings fell and she was like, what button did I touch? Is that me? All right. I'm fascinated by dark humor. What are you going to do? I mean, the darker the story, the bigger the humor could come, right? Like, I love newspapers, if you don't, because that's where you find the most twisted shit. But then the headline is always brutal. But you take one step down, and you're like, all right, I can piece together where humor should be found. Because if something is just dark, then it's just dark, right? Like, if you don't know how to make a dark time funny, like my grandfather would always make dark times funny. He had no idea how to process emotions, but dark jokes meant he was sad. But that was like how he kind of, like I remember when my grandmother's sister died, we were sitting at a funeral. I was 8 years old. My grandfather's in the seat next to me. He just goes, hey, someone in here is gay. And I'm like, what? And he's like, kiss me and I'll tell you. And then a tear rolled down his cheek. And I was like, all right, that's how he's processing. It's like, that's always how I've been. That's how the brain works, I guess, to an extent. And like, there was a really bad plane crash in Nepal, right? And this female pilot crashed a plane and killed everyone. Now that's sad, I'll give it to you, that's sad. But when you read the article, it becomes funnier because she became a pilot because 16 years prior, her husband, also a pilot for Air Nepal, crashed his plane and killed everyone. So to honor him, she became a pilot. And then did the same exact thing. That's crazy. Like, I bet she wasn't thinking about jerking off when that plane was going down. She was probably like, he wasn't lying, this job was kind of hard. See you soon, honey. I find it funny because Nepal, it's not like here. There's arranged marriages in Nepal, you know? Give that matchmaker a raise. How did he know? There's always, I don't know, like, and you have to find humor. Just like after I got way into mushrooms, I got into meditation, right? I do these guided meditations on YouTube. But I've switched out of that to Spotify, because what I learned is the YouTube algorithm never has any idea that you're meditating. So you're just sitting there, you're like close with God and one with the universe, and then a voice is just like, have you thought about TurboTax? And it throws you off. So I got into this weird cycle of my life where I would watch every single YouTube ad, you know, I would watch every one. And there's a 3-minute ad on YouTube right now. It doesn't sit well with me. It's incredibly dark, and I don't know why they're doing it. St. Jude's has a new part of their charity that goes to the Ukraine to save the children of the war, but only the ones who have cancer. Yeah, why are we saving the B team? Those aren't the ones that are going to win the country back. I'm sorry. None of you go to the supermarket, go give me the bread that expires tomorrow. You're like, where's the loaf with some life on it? What is a kid with hair gonna walk up to the plane and you're just like, get the fuck out of here, man. Smoke these cigarettes next to the reactor at Chernobyl. Come back with cancer.